Hey friends, Erin here. Today we're just doing one quick container planting, but I'm hoping you'll find it interesting because like I think all the other containers I'm doing this year, or at least most of them, I'm trying to get a little bit away from what we think of as traditional container combinations. And for this one, we're gonna do some untraditional plants as well as possibly some non-plants. So when I talk about non-traditional plants, I'm talking about things other than those basic go-to annuals that we think of. Those are great plants, but I'm just trying to change things up a little bit. So when I talk about changing it up, one of the things I'm talking about is plants that are not perennial in my zone at all, like this Lamandra Platinum Beauty. This is from Southern Living Plants collection. I've grown this before. The first time I grew it, I put it in the landscape and I had no idea how big it was going to get. It gets big and beautiful. It's got quite stiff blades on it. What are we calling this? Blades. That get, as they get taller, they sort of nicely arc over. It's got a beautiful, beautiful form. So this is going to be the centerpiece of the container, but let me show you where we're working. This is a low teak trough that I think we're on year 3 with this. I bought this from Country Casual Teak, and it is teak, and I love that it's graying out. You can certainly, do things so that your teak stays that nice golden color. And it has a plastic liner inside of it. In the past, I have planted all edibles in here because it's nice to have some herbs and a cherry tomato right outside the back door. Even though I have a garden full of them, it's really nice to have these right here. But last year I decided I was really missing some of the floral accents here. So there are going to be a couple of edible things in here, but this is mostly going to be ornamental this year. I have not changed out the soil in this planter since I started growing in here. And because I was growing things like tomatoes and stuff like that, I have worked in a fair amount of compost in this over the years. I think this soil is probably pretty good. I'm just gonna top it up with a little bit of container mix so that we're nice and full. I'm gonna place this in the center back of this. Now, behind this planter, I've got a whole bunch of Royal Sunset Lilies, which actually are going to bloom super early this year. And then there will also be dahlias behind this planted against the wall. So there's all sorts of color that comes behind this planter as well, which you're going to want to keep in mind when you find out that I'm not adding a ton of color to this. Flanking the Lamandra, we are going to do 2 Electranthus silver shields. Now this will get, Plectranthus silver shield can get quite big, but it's very nice. You can just pinch it back to where you want it to be if it's getting a little bit out of bounds. Now I'm going to skip to the front edge of this planter where we're going to do 2 different kinds of ornamental oregano. This one is called Bellissimo. These are questionably hardy here. They don't usually come back well for us. I usually just use them as container plants and call it a day. But sometimes if I'm feeling the urge, I will plant them out just to see what will happen. And I'm skipping to the front. We're going to come back to the middle here. So this is going to go front and center here. And that is a big root ball on that guy. In fact, there's some loose soil at the bottom that we're going to break off to make it fit here a little bit better. Here we go. And I've not grown this one before, so that one's new to me. Kemp Beauty is the ornamental oregano that I've planted for many years. I think it's just the most beautiful plant. Beautiful foliage on these too, this kind of pretty blue foliage color with kind of limey greens on the front. Now the only thing is I think I might want to put something in between these two. This is Verbena Purple Fizz. This looks a lot like Sparkling Amethyst to me, which I couldn't find. So then I'll put the 2 Kemp Beauties on either side of that. I don't feel the need to make symmetrical planters really ever, but this planter in particular, much like a window box, honestly, really does lend itself to sort of a symmetrical planting. So this is a pretty little Kufia, and I can't unfortunately tell you anything about it because this year Proven Winners asked, when they sent out their plant samples of new stuff for next year, asked that nobody share information on them. It's embargoed until sometime in July. So I can't tell you any more about it, but we'll talk about it when we're able to. Now I have two more plants that are sample plants. These came from Doom and Orange. This is a Dipldenia, which is a mandevilla. I think all Dipldenias are mandevillas, but not all mandevillas are Dipldenias, possibly. I think I'm going to tuck those actually, there I am packing a lot into this container. Partly it's because I don't know exactly what some of these plants are going to do. I'm going to tuck that in between the Lamandra and the Plectranthus. And, you know, like I've been saying with a lot of these planters this year, with these kinds of experiments that I'm doing this year, with combining different things and using different kinds of plants, I'm feeling the need to, like, if I need to get in here and just rearrange something because something's just not working, I'm not going to worry about that at all. I'd be just fine doing that. Now, I love Agara, and I do love this Stratosphere white one. I've used other ones, but this one is really pretty good. And this is such a good, it gives that airy texture to everything. I'm really hoping that all of these plants in this container sort of meld together. So I want that Gara to play with all the other things. It'll get mixed in with the Plectranthus, all of that. I'm going to put some strawberries in here. Not only are strawberries a great trailer, but I think they're cute. I think they're unexpected. These are some of the Seascape strawberries that I got as bare roots, and I'm going to tuck a grouping of 3 of those each corner. This is another sample plant I received from Doom and Orange, and nice little, you know what a Scaevola looks like. You know, I have to tell you, I have not had Scaevola perform like super well for me, so I think it'll be interesting to see whether it's something I'm doing, whether it's the variety. I have other Scaevolas I'm planning on using this year too. We've got basically a purple, white, silvery kind of thing happening here. These will flower sort of light pink, the ornamental oreganos. And it's certainly full. But you've noticed I've left a big spot right here. And this is where I'm going to try doing something I have never done before, and that is bringing in a non-plant element. And in this case, it's this piece of driftwood that I found. And I just have to we do want the plant, I mean, this is not something where I want this like sticking out, you know? I want the plants to weave around it. So we're gonna put that up like that. Make sure this guy is not getting stabbed by anything. Bring this up. Maybe slide it back just a touch. I probably should have put this in before I planted, but I didn't. So that's where we're at. I mean, I will say this driftwood works well with the pot, don't you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think about some of the sort of untraditional elements that are going into this container. And don't forget, behind here, we're gonna have tons of color with the lilies, and then all of this will be tall dahlias behind me. So there's lots of stuff that back this up that also provides additional color, because this is a little bit less color than anything else I'm putting in the garden this year. As always, thank you for watching. I just want to say that I so appreciate when you guys like these videos and watch them and comment or share them. It means a lot. I appreciate it. All right, have a great day in your garden. See you soon.